Excuse me.
Ah, that's better. As I was saying, in celebration of Halloween and Spooktober, today we're taking a look at the top 10 spooky games for PSP. These aren't all strictly games in the horror genre, but they all share dark and grim qualities that I feel are befitting of this frightening time of year. As per usual, for those familiar with my channel, these entries are loosely ranked, but being from different genres and with wildly different playstyles, it all comes down to personal preference, which titles you may prefer. Also note that for some of these titles, I wasn't able to emulate them effectively and had to borrow footage from other channels, in which case I've added a video credit in the corner of the respective footage. Also, just before I go any further, I want to remind viewers that some of these games are quite disturbing and may not be suitable for young audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. For some of these entries, I'm going to let part of the game intro play uninterrupted. A big part of what makes Halloween so great is listening to scary stories, and a lot of these games do a great job in establishing a mood and narrative from the get-go. Now with those disclaimers done and dusted, let's get stuck in to the top 10 spooky games on PSP. Crawling into our number 10 spot is Infected.
And with that, fellow citizens and friends of New York, let me say that this is going to be a great Christmas. Take it away.
Oh, shit.
Worst shopping season ever? Find out at 11.
Infected puts players in the role of a police officer in New York City 3 weeks before Christmas, while the entire city is rapidly being infected with a virus that turns people into ravaging, bloodthirsty zombies. The player's blood contains the cure, which less than 1% of the population possesses. The objective is to destroy the infected while trying to reach someone who can make a cure from the blood. Gameplay is a frantic, over-the-shoulders blaster which revolves around the player's two weapons, a primary weapon and a viral gun. Players must damage an enemy until the energy level drops to 0. This allows the player to use the viral gun on them, killing the enemy.
I'm Dr. Schaefer from the New York Bio Team. Earlier today, New York was attacked by some kind of killer virus that turned everyone it touched into a flesh-eating maniac. Everyone except you. Though you were bitten, we've discovered that you're immune to this virus. But that's not all. Your blood is so powerfully immune that if we get just a drop inside an infected body, splat, they explode. Here, let me show you. The yellow glow around this one means he's at full health. Shoot yellow infected with your ballistic weapon to get them ready to splat. Now that he's wounded, he turns red. When infected are red, you can kill them with your viral gun. Your viral gun is powered by your blood, so be careful how you use it. Okay, let's move on. If you get several red infected near each other, you can kill them all with one shot. Very good. Again, you must use both of your guns to kill the infected. Ballistic gun wounds them, viral gun splats them. Okay, I think you're ready to get out there and stop the infected.
Missions include clearing areas and rescuing civilians. This game shocked me in its opening scene with some really childish humour that set the tone for the rest of the game. I enjoyed the voiceovers in between missions, and the cutscenes with the news reports were also quite funny. While this game is set during Christmas, I wouldn't exactly say it has a very festive vibe, but it uses the holiday backdrop to good effect, in contrasting with the horrors unfolding on screen. Gameplay is very arcade feeling, and you can customize your character and upgrade your weapons and stats as you progress. This was fun to play, mainly for the candid cutscenes, but underneath it all is still a lot of content to keep you playing through and discovering more of the bizarre, tongue-in-cheek story.
friend too, son. Let's go sailing on Gumdrop Lake.
I love you.
Winner of Button Lane, the new adventures for a news flash.
Like hell itself was how one eyewitness described today's slaughter at the plaza. Grandmothers had their limbs pulled off and were beaten to death with them. Mothers were ripping open the stomachs of their own children, chewing on their intestines.
Diane, there's kids watching.
Oh, but the resilience of the New York spirit cannot be broken, here. Hopeful note. Like a beacon shining over all New York, the Rockefeller Christmas tree still stands tall, ornamented in all its...
Diane, those are dead people.
A big Merry Christmas from the NYView News team to all our younger viewers. See you at 11. What the fuck was that? Why didn't you tell me we were interrupting a kid show, Howard, you fucking amateur?
This has been an NYView News special report. We now return you to Button Lane, already in progress.
Hiding in shadows at number 9 is Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. The game is a remake of Castlevania Rondo of Blood with 2.5D graphics and adds minor additions and features.
Vor langer Zeit lebten die Menschen glücklich und zufrieden. Niemand bemerkte den Schatten, der sich langsam über ihnen ausbreitete. Die Dunkelheit trübte ihre Sinne und das Böse fraß sich tief in ihre Seelen. Vom Wahnsinn getrieben schmiedeten sie einen Pakt mit dem Teufel. Zu später Stunde kamen sie zusammen, um gemeinsam die Mächte der Finsternis mit ihrem sündigen Blut zu rufen, sie zu erlösen von ihrer sterblichen Existenz, dem Anbeginn einer neuen Welt vor Augen. Und so begab es sich, dass nach 100 Jahren das Böse wieder Fleisch geworden war. Als unsterbliches Geschöpf der Nacht kann es die Gestalt des Wolfs, der Fledermaus oder des Nebels annehmen. Es labt sich am Blut der Menschen. Dracula, der Fürst der Finsternis, Herr des Teufelsschlosses, ist auferstanden.
The original Rondo of Blood is included as unlockable content and remains largely identical to its PC Engine counterpart. As with its remake, the game is given new voice acting in English, a slightly revised script, and the option to listen to the English or Japanese voices. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is another unlockable game and is generally a port of the PlayStation version, but contains some additions and changes. This game follows a spooky storyline involving classic vampires with modern graphics for the PSP, but staying true to the traditional side-scrolling style of the Castlevania series. I haven't spent a lot of time on this title as the pacing isn't for me, and as you can see, I'm not so good at timing the attacks and evading the enemies. But for fans of the series, or vampires in general, this is a really cool game to pick up. The fact that it is essentially 3 games in one make it a great title to add to your collection. Burning up to number 8 is Dante's Inferno. This game follows the story of Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, which is more widely known as Dante's Inferno.
At the midpoint on the journey of life, I found myself in a dark forest, for the clear path was lost.
What kind of man locks up helpless women? There will be a day of reckoning, Crusader!
My family, my baby's gone!
Dante, a Templar knight, has committed numerous atrocities during the Third Crusade. At the city of Acre, Dante is entrusted to keep a group of Saracen prisoners safe so King Richard I could obtain a holy relic from Saladin. But once he brutally slaughters them, Dante is ordered to take the holy relic. During the attack, Dante is stabbed in the back by an assassin, whereupon death appears and condemns Dante to everlasting damnation for his sins, despite being promised by a bishop that his sins would be absolved. Dante refuses to accept his fate, vows to redeem himself, and defeats death while taking his scythe. Dante leaves the crusade, stitching a red Holy Cross-shaped tapestry onto his torso, depicting every sin he has committed in the past.
The bishop said our cause was holy. Holy had nothing to do with it. After 3 years of the cold hatred with which that savage war fed itself, I longed for the warmth of my devoted Beatrice, for the chance to redeem the past, to start again. No.
I told him you would come for me.
Beatrice!
I have to go with him, my love. I gave my word.
He returns to Florence, only to find his lover, Beatrice Portinari, and father Alighiero brutally murdered. Beatrice's soul appears before Dante, telling him that she knew he would come after her before a shadowy manifestation of Lucifer drags her into darkness. After making it to a chapel, Dante blesses the holy cross that Beatrice gave him upon making their vows to be true to each other to protect him against the evils that wait. Upon doing so, a crack in the earth opens up, allowing Dante to descend to the gates of hell. This game plays like a God of War clone, but focuses on Christian lore rather than God of War's Greek mythology, with the concept of descending into the depths of hell on a righteous quest. Sadly, I couldn't get this game to run properly on my emulator due to issues with the lighting and bloom effects, but it runs smoothly on PSP hardware, and you might have more success in emulating this game than I did.
Sweet young thing. Instead, it's me who gets the prize.
Let her go. She's innocent.
Not for long.
I belong to him now.
You've only yourself to blame, holy warrior. You don't deserve such a faithful and pious young lady.
Creeping around at number 7, we have Obscure the Aftermath. As the story begins, a new drug created from a strange flower is quickly spreading its influence over the university's populace.
It'll melt your nostrils.
Wow, what's in there? Everyone on campus has been making tea with this flower for a month. It's time we tried it.
Hey, neighbors.
Hey!
Kenny, what are you doing?
Great, my sister.
Come over here now.
See y'all at the party.
Weird family.
Do you think they'll let us into the Delta Theta Gamma party? It's really exclusive.
If you're with me, it won't be an issue.
Soon enough, a small group of students, along with the Leafmore High survivors, have to face a horde of mutants and try to stay alive. The spores spread through the whole city, and later the whole country. The outbreak starts in a fraternity party. Amy and Kenny are the first ones to arrive, only to find the place infected when they get inside. The students then meet a scientist, Richard James, who is the biology teacher of the university, and aids the player several times. After some time, the group is joined by Corey and May, who try to escape. I was really surprised by this one. It plays like a more action-oriented Silent Hill, and borrows a lot of tropes, such as static when encountering otherworldly things, and many scenes which make you question what is real. I definitely got spooked with this one, and while the game is dated, with an angsty soundtrack and some questionable characters, it feels a bit like a time machine, and still stands on its own as a good title. This game reminds me of old B-movie horrors, which I think was an intentional choice by the developers. Take control of various characters with the ability to switch between them to solve puzzles and unlock new conversation options. I had no idea about this game before making this video, but I'm excited to play through it further and uncover more of the story. Another cool feature is that you can actually hop into co-op mode on the fly, so if you're having trouble with a particular section, you can always get a friend to back you up. The controls are standard fare for a survival horror, with the clunky aiming mechanics actually adding to the suspense and the sense of helplessness. I really like the attention to detail with the on-screen effects mirroring your character's mental state and the cheesy story beats keeping things well paced.
I always thought that urban legends were fairy tales, but 2 years ago I attended Leafmore High, an old and respected educational institution that was run by the Friedman brothers, Leonard and Herbert, twin brothers that had specialized in experimental botany. Life was beautiful then, and I remember so many good times with my friends Ashley, Josh, Kenny, and Shannon, until Herbert Friedman decided to use the students as guinea pigs for an experiment that would save the life of his diseased brother Leonard. All of us were infected with mutated spores that Friedman released into the air. To survive, we had to kill our teachers. After that night, I did a lot of bad stuff and ended up in prison. But I served my time without protesting. I'm out now, and I just want to forget about Leafmore and everything that happened there.
We have to get a move on, May. We're gonna miss the drinks at Sven's.
Okay, I'm coming with you.
Our number 666 fights back as Hellboy, the Science of Evil. Players control Hellboy in a third-person perspective as they progress through a series of levels broken up into 6 chapters. Levels consist of separate stages and routes occupied by multiple groups of enemies that differ between chapters. In most cases, all enemies in an area must be defeated in order to move to the next phase of the chapter. with ghostly barriers of smoke blocking paths while foes remain present. To combat opponents, Hellboy uses his stone right hand of doom for most hand-to-hand combat situations, with heavy and quick attacks that can be mixed together for varied combinations. Foes can eventually be stunned, as indicated with a grey flash. Hellboy also performs other attacks, such as slams and headbutts, along with cinematic finishing moves when his opponent is near death. These finishing moves are necessary in the boss fights. As Hellboy defeats his enemies, he receives energy that is stored in his health meter. The energy is used to execute certain grapple moves, and to activate Hell Mode, where Hellboy's right hand of doom becomes engulfed in flames, causing further damage in combat. Another weapon that can be used is Hellboy's oversized pistol, known as the Samaritan. The weapon fires single shots with up to 9 different types of ammunition. While most kinds are for damaging opponents, like heavy, grenade, and splinter, others can be used during the game's puzzles, like ignite to light beacons or release to destroy cursed vines. Additional types of ammunition, like charge, can only be obtained by defeating certain enemies with a finishing move. This title feels very comic book-like in terms of its visual style and more light-hearted approach to demons and Hellspawn. I didn't get much of a Ron Perlman vibe from the main character, which was a bit disappointing, as I am a big fan of the original 2004 film. Regardless, the classic overpowered gun and wisecracking protagonist make this a fun game to waste some time with, that essentially boils down to a beat-em-up with some minor platforming and shooting elements. Not my favourite, but a recognisable mascot to take on a crusade against the forces of evil. Saving the world for number 5 is The Third Birthday.
Tonight is Christmas Eve, and the snow should last until morning. The skies are presenting New York City with a white Christmas. The holiday season brings a change of scenery, as office workers are out of their suits and in festive outfits. With the latest...
Mommy? What is it, dear? Do you want to go home?
Comfortable Christmas.
There's been a fire on 52nd. Casualties are being sent off. 10-4. What's your location?
are working to identify the creatures that are terrorizing Manhattan. Although we have no concrete evidence that our concerns...
It looks like countless groups are emerging from the ground. Here's the situation in Manhattan.
Rescue teams are struggling to locate survivors, as roads are being destroyed and buildings are collapsing all around. Residents are currently evacuated, but New York...
What is this?
No one knows if this is happening.
The ocean!
I just got word from the Seismic Institute. They've confirmed this is not an earthquake of any sort.
Roger that. From here on out, we'll refer to it as the Babel.
What is that? What is that? What the hell is that?
Watch closely. Knowing your enemy will make your job easier. I didn't say easy. I said easier.
Sir, my mission?
Rally with the National Guards and aid in the destruction of the Big Ore.
Yes, sir.
Now I know how a father feels in this kind of situation. No soldier has seen the heart of the Babel and come back to tell his tale. Well, you know the basics. Now, let's see how you do.
I didn't know you had a daughter.
For all you know, I don't.
Okay, got it. Back to work. Reprogramming codes, I can do. But you're the only one who can reprogram the past. Do it for all of us. Well, what do you say, Aya?
She doesn't need any more pressure. Is that understood? During an overdive, if your soul dies, you can't return to your body. Which means, technically you die. You need to stay on your toes at all times.
So, we're sending a rookie, huh? That's comforting.
Everything we know is at stake here. Ever-expanding research budget, overall safety of the planet, every last thing.
I can do it.
The game takes place in 2013, a year after creatures known as the Twisted have appeared from beneath Manhattan and decimated the city. To fight back against the Twisted, an investigatory team called the Counter-Twisted Investigation, CTI, is formed. Among their number is series protagonist Aya Brea, who was found unconscious and suffering amnesia 2 years before the game's events. Using her overdive ability, Aya travels into the past to alter the outcomes of battles against the Twisted. At the same time, Aya attempts to find out the origin of the Twisted and regain her memories. This game blew me away with its visual storytelling and unique gameplay. Traveling back in time to overdive into other people, taking control of them and accessing their weapons. You can zoom around the battlefield, taking control of various NPCs to your advantage, and coordinate attacks as a squad. Square Enix knows how to do character-driven action games, and this is no exception. The intro scene alone got me excited to play, being very reminiscent of the Cloverfield movie. Stumbling out to number 4 is Deadhead Fred. Deadhead Fred takes place in Hope Falls, New Jersey, a once prosperous area based on American cities in the 1940s. The city has steadily fallen from grace since a business mogul named Ulysses Pitt began accumulating power. Pitt has a background of petty crime, and there are allegations that he was somehow responsible for the disappearance of Vinnie Rossini, an influential Hope Falls businessman.
And it arrived by courier in the box. I examined it and sent it off to the taxidermist as you instructed.
What about the brain and the eyes?
The taxidermist just throws those away. I figured I'd save some time and throw them in the sludge dump.
What about the body?
Yeah, egghead. What about the body?
How am I supposed to know? I never saw the body. You only shipped me the head. Why don't you go and look in the sludge dump where you left,
How do you know the body was in the sludge dump?
That's where you put all the bodies, isn't it? You said it yourself.
Yeah, I suppose I'd do it that. I am a creature of habit. Mea culpa.
I've told you everything I know.
I'm betting I can remind him of some other things he knows.
No, I'm prepared to give the good doctor the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, Mr. Pitt. I appreciate it.
Don't mention it, Doc. You've been very valuable to me and to my organization. But, alas, since the nuclear plant is online, I think your contract has reached its termination point.
Yes, exactly. What?
Lefty, I think it's time we introduce the Doc here to the Horseman.
The Horseman, you say? Would that be the Headless Horseman? The one that lives in the woods past the graveyard?
Damn, Doc, you ain't gotta shout. Of course I mean that Horseman. You know about some other horseman I don't? Now come on, let's get this over with.
Pitt's new nuclear plant has recently finished construction and has caused a high level of radiation in the city, leading to strange phenomena like mutated wildlife and undead monsters. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one as it was already featured on our top 10 hidden gems video, which I'll link in the corner here. In a nutshell, Deadhead Fred sees you take control of Fred Newman, who has the ability to switch heads to use different powers and abilities. The game received generally positive reviews, with reviewers mentioning its dark humour and noir-inspired motif as high points. And in 2008, it won the Writers Guild of America's first ever award for video game writing. Bursting from the ground to number 3 is MediEvil Resurrection.
Aha! Found it!
Dan's Crypt. The best place to go if you're looking for a dead Dan.
Oi, you! Fortescue! At last! Come, get up! We got things to do! Hey! Easy, my friend. In my culture, we treat the guests with courtesy, especially if they stop by for 100 years. Who am I? My friend, you should feel honored. Usually the corpses, their skulls are filled with just the worms. Instead, you get I, Al-Zalam, glorious genie of the Sultan Prince Razim the Ribald, noble protector of... You doubt me? I see it in your eye. Well, it is true. With genies, usually we are trapped within the lamps. That is bad. Very oily for the skin. But far worse, let me tell you, is when evil sorcerer tricks you, traps you inside skull of cowardly knight. Oh, the smell! It is mustier than a Saracen's jockstrap. You imply that I lie. In my culture, that would earn you 50 strokes of the cut. And we are allergic to cuts, so that is a terrible punishment. But fine, if you're too busy with the being dead, we just sit back and watch Zarok destroy Galomir once more. Oh, you remember Zarok at least? Yes, that madman is back from the exile. He has mastered the dark magics, has been waking the dead, turning good men evil. He turns this land bad quicker than tub of yak's cheese next to warm radiator. Why you back among the living? His magic? Or perhaps fate? Fate gives you chance to redeem yourself, make amends for your cowardly death, huh? Yes, I was there that fateful day. I saw you hanging back, pretending to tie your bootlaces, and getting hit by first stray arrow. Never believe on publicity. You just a big coward, buried as big hero with poor genie still trapped inside his head. Come on, I know you are tough guy deep down. We can work with that. I will be guide. Maybe this time we truly defeat him. His men killed you. His magic cursed me. Together, we squash that creepy cockroach. Free me! Turn you into a real hero, eh?
Well, he's back. Old Sir Daniel Fortescue, the hero of Gallowmere, rendered eyeless and lifeless by the first arrow, rendered heroic by the mists of time. It's amazing what good PR can do. Now the fickle finger of fate has given him a second chance. A chance to make good his ignoble past. A chance to defeat Zarok and live up to the legend. If I had any breath, I wouldn't be holding it. Anyway, many of my stony kind reside in Gallowmere. We may be woken with a gentle nudge, not with a kiss. Please, don't try the kissing thing. We don't have affectionate natures.
In the year 1286, an evil sorcerer named Zarok plotted to take over the kingdom of Gallowmere with his undead army. It is told in legend that the king of Gallowmere's champion, Sir Daniel Fortescue, led his army to victory and managed to kill Zarok before succumbing to his mortal wounds. In reality, Dan was in fact struck down by the first arrow fired in the battle, with the king choosing to cover it up and declare Dan the hero of Gallowmere.
So, you're set on finding Zarok. The Master, as he likes us to call him, leaves a sulphurous green ether as he passes through the land. Seek out this whiffy trail, and you may be sure you're on the right track.
Zarok, meanwhile, was forced into hiding and was presumed dead. 100 years later, in 1386, Zarok reappears, casting a spell over Gallowmere to awake his undead army and steal the souls of the living. However, in the process, he unwittingly revives the corpse of Dan, who has over time become a skeletal corpse, missing his jaw and the eye he lost in the Battle of Gallowmere.
Graveyard.
Welcome back to Gallowmere, Daniel. the stinking dead have risen up to dance with the lifeless living. Have courage. These are truly strange and terrifying times. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Now get out of here. You're blocking my view.
Shortly after waking up, Dan is accompanied by El-Zalam, a genie whose powers were robbed by Zarok. Having been unable to ascend to the Hall of Heroes due to his failures in life, Dan uses this opportunity to defeat Zarok, save Gallowmere, and earn his place as a true hero. This reimagining of the first installment in the MediEvil series was released as a launch title for the PSP in September 2005. The dry humour helps to add life to this quirky tale as you go on adventures fighting hordes of undead in a quest to rid the world evil and clear your cowardly reputation. With lots of different weapons to pick up and things to unlock, you can play for hours and still find refreshing ways to vanquish your foes. I'm particularly fond of this one, both for its nostalgic value, for those like myself who played the original, and for its fun Tim Burton-esque visual style that makes it a joy for fans and newcomers of the series. This is a classic game that is well deserving of praise, and I would highly recommend you give this one a go. Our second place goes to two equally grim titles, Death Jr. and Death Jr. 2 Root of Evil.
DJ, the bus is here.
File in class and give me your reports by the end of the day. Move it, Molly. Oh, God. We'll start in the archives. Becky, stop hitting Max.
Huh. All right!
We should stay with the class. Damn it. Now I'm all nervous. See? Come on, guys. What am I supposed to write our report about? What we didn't learn today?
You suck, Stigmartha. Dead Guppy's not scared.
I do not suck. We're gonna get arrested again.
Put a cork in it.
There is a cork in it.
Oh, gross! Repulsive! I tire of this discussion. You volunteered to write the report for our group, Marty. Complaining is futile. Let us find more stimulating amusement.
Like that.
La 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 la.
Oops.
An artifact estimated to be thousands of years old. Attempts to open it have failed. The mysteries may never be known.
Ooh, wicked. Stop it, Pandora. Whomever locked that box obviously didn't want it opened again. Ugh.
It won't open. That's weird. I can open anything.
This is boring. It's just a stupid box. Marty, let's roll.
Whatever. Let's jam.
We're gonna get grounded for this.
Yeah, whatever. Anybody got a smoke?
Oh.
I'll be back for you.
Giddy up!
If you want an A, leave me alone.
Hey, DJ.
What was that noise?
What? It wasn't me. Oops, that one was me.
Huh?
Huh? Huh? Huh?
The PSP iteration was the first PSP game shown publicly and advertised as a killer app. The game is about the teenage son of the Grim Reaper, named Death Jr., or DJ for short. His father tried many times to stop his son from creating chaos at every school he's been to. Now is DJ's last chance. If he creates chaos one more time, he'll be sent to military school. He meets new friends at this school: Pandora, a girl with obsessive-compulsive disorder and a thing for locked boxes; Stigmatha, a girl who has holes in her hands and bleeds from them whenever she's nervous; Smith and Wesson, conjoined twins who are very smart and conjoined at the head; the Seep, an armless, legless, foul-mouthed kid in a vat; and the Dead Guppy, a character who speaks for himself. The friends go on a field trip to a museum where they find a locked box that Pandora wants opened, so DJ opens it to impress her. Unfortunately, all hell breaks loose and demons run amok. It's up to DJ to stop them and revert the town back to normal, all the while making sure Dad doesn't find out. In the game, the player has a variety of guns, ranging from pistols to a rocket launcher. The controls are simple. The player moves around with the analog stick and attacks people with the square and circle buttons. There is a lot of emphasis in the game on combos, which can be achieved by linking attacks to each other in rapid succession. Death Jr., Pandora, and all their twisted friends return in Death Jr. 2, Root of Evil.
Chunky sauce. Yeah, we're out of that. Here's your food. Sorry. Welcome to Majestic Burger, where we put fun in the bud. Can I help you?
I'll have a number 4 with hash browns. Hold the onions. I'm on break. No onions. Ninguna cebolas, por favor.
Hello? Just the hash browns?
This isn't on the schedule. What department are you from? These people are not meant to die now.
Out of my way!
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say.
I don't think you understand.
As they try to get out of another mess after accidentally releasing a powerful spirit. These games really nail what a horror comedy is all about. With grotesque characters and jokes thrown all around, they don't take themselves very seriously, and that's what allows them to shine. I personally prefer the original Death Jr. just for how groundbreaking it was when it came out, and it seems to play more smoothly and have a more focused design. But I also have a lot of love for the sequel too. The controls are fast and snappy, with satisfying platforming that makes pulling off stunts and kills easy and intuitive. I like how much of the environment is destructible, and this contributes in a meaningful way by powering up your assist meter. The sequel adds more platforming mechanics and another playable character in the form of Pandora, and the game feels a bit like a mashup of many other action platformers like Spyro and Ratchet & Clank, but with spooky overtones. Death Jr. deserves a lot more attention for its all-out action and twisted setting, and I definitely ended up playing a lot more of this even after I turned off the screen capture. Another highly recommended title to get you in the Halloween spirit. Now, without much further ado, we have a couple of honourable mentions. The unapologetic violence of Manhunt 2 may be a little gory for some, and the adult themes and premise can be a little hard to swallow at times, but in my opinion, is a more realistic way of depicting combat in a video game.
ain't supposed to happen. We're back online. Thank fucking God.
Oh, shit. Look!
Get some help! Taking Dr. White down in the psycho section.
We did it. Come on. You want to get out of here? Then come on.
Compared to other games where enemies are cannon fodder and their demise doesn't carry any weight. In 2007, at the Dixmoor Asylum for the criminally insane, a severe thunderstorm causes the security system at the asylum to momentarily go offline, opening the cell doors throughout the facility, resulting in the populace wandering freely through the corridors. Two such inmates are Daniel Lamb and Leo Casper. Daniel is a disoriented amnesiac, unable to remember how or why he came to Dixmoor. In Manhunt, you must use your environment to your advantage, as often opponents will be physically stronger than you and aren't supposed to be taken head on. The narrative unravels in an interesting way, and the game tests the player on what they're willing to stomach, while questioning our morality and participating in the acts depicted on screen. The game has aged a bit since its release, and I think if it were released today, it wouldn't have received the innumerable bans and censorships that it was subject to. I'm playing the uncensored version here, but just be careful when downloading and playing this game, as there are still a number of countries where this game is still banned. Our second honourable mention is the complex horror story of Corpse Party. The plot of the original Corpse Party game concerns a group of Japanese high school students celebrating their school's culture festival. The group are telling ghost stories when a sudden earthquake transports them to Heavenly Host Elementary School, a dilapidated schoolhouse in an alternate dimension. The school is haunted by the ghosts of people who have been trapped there. The main playable character is Satoshi Mochida, a kind-hearted high school student who is teased by his classmates for his cowardly nature. Three of the other characters are students from Satoshi's class: Naomi Nakashima, Satoshi's childhood friend, Yoshiki Kishinuma, an intimidating yet good-natured student, and Ayumi Shinozaki, the class representative. Rounding out the group is Yuka Mochida, Satoshi's younger sister. The game's antagonist is the ghost of a former student, a girl in a red dress who seeks revenge for her death at the hands of a teacher many years prior. Now, I'm not personally a fan of the visual novel style of games like this, but I found the voice acting to be engaging and the storyline is well written. the on-screen sprites helps to augment the story, and gameplay develops later on into quite an interactive experience. I didn't have time to get much further than the intro scenes, but there are a lot of games in the series, so if you like these kinds of games, this would be a great one to try. Now with those out of the way, it's time for our number one spooky duo, Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Who'd I just pass there? That you, good buddy? Treetop tall and wall to wall. Travis, you messed up son of a bitch. What you doing on my road? Well, hit on a gig, bud. I'm taking the shortcut past Silent Hill. Stop up for coffee as soon as I hit Brahms. I'm beat. Bad dreams still keeping you awake. I told you, man, a girl or two would go a long way. Sleep like a baby in your cab. Guess I just don't meet the right girls, bud. Maybe if you weren't always blabbering about losing your how you don't even remember how, why. Hey, chill. You don't see me bringing up your issues. No need. My old lady keeps me fully informed of my feelings. The girl keeps notes. You mean she hasn't left you yet? Any day now. See you around, Travis. Take it easy. 10-4. Catch you later, buddy.
Origins follows trucker Travis Grady as he searches for information about a girl whom he rescued from a fire. Along the way, he unlocks his repressed childhood memories. Gameplay uses a third-person perspective and emphasizes combat, exploration, and puzzle solving, similar to previous installments. Driving past Silent Hill as a shortcut, Travis swerves his truck to avoid hitting a spirit manifestation of Alessa. While following the spirit manifestation, he stumbles upon a burning house and rescues the real Alessa, who was immolated in a ritual to impregnate her with the cult's god. Losing consciousness outside the house, he awakens in the town and resolves to learn if she survived. During his journey, Travis unlocks his repressed childhood memories and defeats monstrous forms of his parents.
Sweetie.
Daddy?
Yes?
The new patient is here. They're early.
That's fine. We can start now. I'm glad you came. Just turning up shows your commitment to the process. Good. I've read your notes. The other therapist didn't work out for you. I want you to know this will be different. We take this at your pace. No notes, no drugs, no theories. We go back to the start. Understand what happened. Take a look at this short form. I promise it's the only one you'll see during your therapy. Try to answer truthfully. It's easier that way. You've been unfaithful? Is that true? Okay. Let's get started then.
Shattered Memories is a reimagining of the first game and retains the premise, Harry Mason's quest to find his missing daughter in the fictitious American town of Silent Hill, but is set in a different fictional universe, has a different plot, and altered characters, alongside new ones. Shattered Memories divides its gameplay between two different settings. The first section is set in a psychotherapist's office, and the second in a town called Silent Hill. In the first section, the player interacts with Dr. Michael Kaufman, a therapist. The player responds to Kaufman's questions and completes a psychological test. The player's responses to these tests alters aspects of gameplay in the second setting, including the available areas, the physical appearance and behaviour of characters encountered, and the physical appearance of monsters. Shattered Memories returns to Kaufman's office periodically throughout the game. The Silent Hill franchise is ubiquitous with the horror genre, and Konami really know how to set up a scare. It's not so much about what you see, but what you can't see. The obscuring and ever-present fog create a claustrophobic sense of unease, and the background sounds are very unsettling. Definitely the scariest games I've played on the PSP by a long shot, just for how well crafted the story and setting is. It feels realistic enough when you're in the normal world that when you enter the mirror dimension and witness the horrors firsthand, it feels that much more real. The use of fixed camera points and Dutch angles helps to increase the spook factor. Silent Hill is a well-paced survival horror with a compelling storyline that keeps driving you forward further and further into danger. Despite my instincts telling me to run the other way, curiosity often got the better of me and kept me going to uncover more and more twisted horror. A classic pair of games that are still excellent to play to this day. I prefer Origins as it's the one I've had more time with, but they are both excellent titles and my top picks for the spookiest games on PSP. And that about wraps it up for today. If there's any scary titles that I missed, please let me know in the comments below, as I love a good scare. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe to stay notified of future releases.
Can you feel it?
Go again.
But what's going on?
Where is the other half of me?
I'm here, June! June!
I need the other half of me. He desires me, Sven. Oh, they all want me.
Corey, you bastard.
Stop, Sven! Just stop!